good. I think the audio should be good. Really? Somebody lowered this thing?
You're not grabbing the right, you gotta grab the little, nope,
Here?
lower, the other side. Down, no, you touched it. Bro. Right arm, there, up. No, bro, there you go.
It's early, don't start. You're a guest. Okay. What's going on? I'm all over the place today. All right. Everybody else is on the way. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you everybody that's on the stream. Well, this is really crooked. It's all right. Man, this last 2 weeks I have been hit hard with AI. That's the best way to start it. Really, really hard with AI. I'll just leave it at that. But is anybody here not using AI in their business? Try to use it every day. How about you?
I'm not running a business yet, so.
Oh, what about personally?
I use AI for personal stuff.
Yeah. Have you started?
No.
Oh my God. It's now, I went from, my approach towards a lot of things in business, especially when it comes to training, and at this point, I'm looking at AI as an employee. And I think it's important for me to say that so it makes sense moving forward. It's always been good to have a team, but you need to know how to work with the team, to give instructions for the team, to train the team, manage the team. And I have experience with domestic team members, virtual team members, big amounts, good size amounts of each, which increases complications. So there's managers and now artificial employees or AI employees. And there's unique challenges there, but the approach I take with the training is I do, we do, you do for how I approach it. So if you're gonna do a specific role in the company, I do it and you watch me do it, then we do it. And that's kind of like, I'm doing it, but you're finishing my sentences. When we start off, I say, all right, what are we doing? And you kick it off and I fill in the gaps. And we do that until I feel like I'm holding you back. And then I'll be like, hey man, I got a meeting, can you handle this? Or some equivalent of that. You take the training wheels off, but I'm watching. It's kind of like my son. I ask him to go take the trash out and he's like, by myself? I'm like, yeah. And he goes to do it and I act like I'm not looking, but I run to the window and I'm like, seeing what this little crazy kid's up to. And like that. So we've been using AI since it came out, but we eliminated most AI, so we were just have everybody in the team. The only AI we were using is Gemini because we use Google Workspace, and I feel like Gemini's if you have Google Workspace, I feel like the best AI to have is Gemini. If you do creative, Gemini. A lot of video, Gemini is fantastic. VO3, Nano Banana, all that's just incredible. So when Claude, everyone got on this Claude kick, I was like, yeah, no, this is where I gotta stay strong. I'm gonna ignore this thing. And Claude is really just another Gemini or another ChatGPT. But Claude Cowork is what got my attention. And I'm like, yeah, you're telling me I can just tell this thing to go do it and it will just do it on its own and I could leave? That's pretty attractive, especially for somebody who's constantly battling not enough hours in the day to do what I want to do. So this course came out and it was how to create, how to like, I'm imagining on the personal side, what's your name, I'm sorry?
Vinny.
Alvic?
Vinny.
Vinny.
Yeah.
Vinny. So Vinny, I'm imagining on the personal side, the AI is the extent of like doing research and looking stuff up and
Creating stuff.
sure creating some images.
Stages, yeah.
Right. So I wanted to do it to where I could like set something in motion and the AI would just keep doing it and like figuring it out and pass it off. So it was more of an automation, like a chain of events that it can do. Instead of saying, oh, great, now I got to get this and I got to upload it. And this course came out and it was $500, 50% off. So I was like, but it was for Claude. So I was like, I'm going to take it, but every time it says Claude, I'm just going to swap it for Gemini in my head, and I'm going to stop and I'm going to say, hey, Gemini, I just heard this. How would this apply to you? And it sounds cumbersome, but it was a 5-day challenge. And I was like, I can't lose on this for $250. So I did it. But when you sign up, they give you day 0. And this is what I feel like everyone should know if they're going to get into Claude, is setting it up is a pain in the butt. And the less you have documented, the more tedious it is to set up. So if everything lives in your head, the more stuff lives just in your head, the harder it's going to be to set up. Would you agree with that, Ramon? Yeah. So I'm pretty good at documenting stuff and SOPs, and we have trainings and all kind of stuff. So it took me about half a day to get this thing set up. But when I did it, it was almost immediate that something like my desktop looks like the files and stuff everywhere. It looks like a dumpster fire. I mean, it looks bad. It looks like an explosion of just random, digital fragments everywhere. There's folders on there that just say, 2019. That's what it just says. And then within 2019, there's some other years. And there's so many things in there. And it's impossible to deal with, but it was one of those things like, man, being more digitally organized, how much time in the day could I save just by being more digitally organized? Like, how many times have I needed to take a picture of my driver's license to send to something, and I have like 19 pictures of my driver's license throughout. I have like 16 bios of me and like 8 headshots, and they all say just duplicates of everything. And I just asked Claude Cora, I was like, let me give it the most impossible task that it will never be able to do. And I told it to I didn't even know what to say. I just said, make sense of this. I'd like to be more organized on my desktop, or something like that. Not only did it take care of everything in, under 20 minutes, but it created a new system to where weekly, it could be daily if I wanted, but weekly, it auto cleans it up and files stuff away where it knows where it's at. It named stuff, things that it didn't know. It didn't give me a list of 40,000 things that I need to go in and name. It used more common sense than a lot of people that I know. It used a lot of common sense to name the files something that made sense and bucket them, and the way it thinks was really good. So now I have this organized thing that works on the computer, and then after that, you imagine you're just going bonkers with it. It says, love it, I do it, we do it, you do it. Yeah, absolutely. Lokesh.
So you created an agent for that, or just commanded AI access to your desktop?
I just commanded Claude Cowork to do it, and in this training it said, do you want to turn this into, I think, recurring task? You want this to be a recurring task? And I was like, yes. Yeah, I didn't know, I was like, yeah, I don't know if this was an option. Like, yeah, I want it to be a recurring task. That sounds like a great idea. So now I'm looking at this like, that makes you think like, what are recurring tasks that I do? Because if it can just do that, I would like to get the recurring task that I don't like to do, or that I don't have to be the person doing, out of my court. So I have a rapidly growing recurring task list. What's up, brother? Then I just started getting into, so this week has been a lot about organization with AI, like getting organized with AI. And obviously, Oh, and then I ran into an issue almost immediately, because when you start, if you do start using Claude, you're probably going to get on there, I think it's $20, $30 a month. What is it?
100 to 100.
Right, $20 a month, right? And what's going to happen is the first time you do try to do something like clean up your desktop like that, probably like within an hour, it's going to time you out. And it's going to say like, hey, you've hit a token limit. It doesn't mean you don't have any more, but like you can only use so many so often or something in a day. And we're putting you on pause for a couple hours. Oh, I do not like being put on pause. I don't like anybody putting me on pause. I pay a little extra always and people make fun of me for not waiting and getting convenience, and this AI has just put me on pause.
How dare it put me on pause?
I went to the 200 plan immediately. And I haven't been put on pause again. But as much as I've been doing, I'm thinking imminently this thing's gonna put me on pause. Is it possible that you can get put on pause at 200?
You should be able to see the token usage. You have an hourly, a 5-hour window, and a
I'm scared I'm gonna get put on pause because it's gonna have an upgrade button beside it. I'm just gonna hit it because I'm not gonna let this thing. It's gonna be like a personal challenge now.
So this is 200 a month?
I'm at the plan of 200 a month, but when I don't know if I'm getting even close to it, and I'm knocking out bigger things now. At some point, there's going to be less bigger things to knock out. So I can't imagine that I would need to go beyond that plan. But it would be nice if I did come across something that did, because that would mean there's something really big that I can now get done that I don't need to do, and it's going to be a lot more affordable with Claude. But what was some other pretty cool stuff I did with Claude? I'm not ready to say 100%, but I do believe, and this is, by the way, I think this is a really important piece of your business. So like, don't run out of here and go do this thing in your business, because I'm not certain that this should be done. But I've had bookkeepers since we started business, you have some sort of bookkeeping. And I hate dealing with the books and coordinating like what this charge was for. To be honest, what I do is if it says food, I put business meals. So just immediately, if it was charged on my car, business meals. But
the IRS is going to be watching this recording.
the AI does, and this is with my limited experience with Claude, it just does it. It's all categorized. Everything's up to date. Things I've had pending with the IRS. I still got stuff that I'm trying to resolve with the IRS from 2024. Is resolved. Like it's resolved. I could have a daily P&L if I wanted, and just ask. Like everything is going on. If something goes up 2 cents, I can get an alert if I wanted. It's almost like, I think there's going to be, I was saying this before, I think there's going to be in all of our businesses a collapsing of the org chart that we've always heard. And
But you're contradicting yourself, because there doesn't need to be. You just can do more with less. So you can either fire and collapse,
I don't-
or you can grow and keep the org chart, or
as much
you
as
can just continue to pay them to not do anything.
as much as I would hate to say you're right, you could be. I mean, AI is just hitting us, like we're all figuring it out. My reason for saying the collapsing is, and I don't mean it in a negative way, it's always been, as long as I've been in business, it's always been good advice that somebody gives you. Work more on your business and less in your business, right?
Fair.
I don't think that is as true with AI. I'll give another example for these major creators that you know, like, let's use YouTube creators that you know, the real popular ones that you could probably name by name. If you listen to any of their interviews and they talk about like the Mr. Beasts and stuff, in the early days, they did all the recordings, they did all the script writing, they did all their thumbnails, and they did all their video editing. And at some point, after years of suffering through that, they got to the point where they could afford to hire somebody to do the thumbnails because it was that important. Because if somebody doesn't click on the video and watch it, they're not gonna. You can't do anything if there's no click. And then it was hooks. And then when you talk to them after their success, they mention what's the best advice you could give somebody who's just starting out on YouTube? They said delegate the editing and the thumbnail creation process as fast as possible. Fire someone who's excellent at just that one thing. Like specialists, get specialists. And it's because those tasks were so resource intensive and it wasn't the main thing they were good at, which was creating video. But there is an extra benefit if they were just as good as the specialist to keep that close to the vest and do it. You can iterate more, you can test more. Nobody is as familiar with the product as the owner, like the creator of it. And I think we're at a spot there, especially with video, that it does not make sense for that YouTube creator to hire the video editor and the thumbnail person. Well, for video, the jury's still out on that as far as editing, but right. But in other areas of our business, we should keep it. You know, I'll give you one. Assuming you have a very uncomplicated business, there's certain things within your business that it may start making sense for you to keep close to your vest, especially when you start. Yeah, that's what I mean by that. Like, I think, what's the role of a CFO in a company?
Make sure the CEO has guardrails.
Okay. So do you besides the strategic piece, because I think the CFO should also lend some strategic advice with the financial information that they have. Their job is to make sure the CEO can act on that information in the most intelligent way. So could the CEO with an AI have all that?
Yes.
Which would mean the collapse of the CFO role.
Yes, but I mean, a CFO also has connections, like a bank connections and being able to say, like, I can get you this loan, and a CFO is a little bit more, like, I don't think you can ever collapse the CFO job in a big company, but you can definitely collapse most of the
But somebody who has bank connections, there's people who have bank connections that are not CFOs.
I get it.
So I'm not saying the need for anything in the finance space is going to be needed. What I'm saying is the role of the CFO collapses, and the only thing that's left is there's connections. I mean, there's some companies that just specialize in getting you bank connections. You don't need to pay those people 180.
You're getting the bug big time when you're talking like this. Like, this is next level cargo. Like, I'm not used to listening you make the case of a collapsing org chart here.
Well, I'm never one to just put I mean, I look at what's coming and I avoid what I think is the fidget spinners and all that stuff there. Well, one of our new sponsors, we have a new sponsor, Belay. Belay. I used to just think of them more as like a good spot. Like, if I needed to hire somebody fully trained, like, I like to get somebody and train them from scratch from the beginning, but if I needed to get somebody fully trained on a specific subject, Belay was my go-to spot for that. There was one in the past and they didn't work out. I won't even name them now because I don't want to, speak bad about anybody, but it was horrible. Belay would be the one I go to that is just solid. So, like, when stuff popped off in the Ukraine and I lost some of my key people that were in the Ukraine, Belay's, I'd get some good people from Belay. Like, if you need to get, like, for example, a fractional CFO, Belay's solid. If you need to get somebody like that's really good at implementing a whole bunch of AI stuff, Belay's solid, like, out the box. And to be able to get them on a project or, that sort of stuff is good. But I could see the benefit of a fractional CFO. I struggle with just what little bit I've seen, though, with AI to think of a full-time, full-blown CFO.
Bigger companies for sure.
Hundred-
Bigger companies for sure.
Don't bigger companies have more data and more information to put into the AI?
The reality is CEO needs guardrails and AI can only push so much.
Oh. Sounds like you're saying I'm right. All right. What else? So yeah, I got bit by the bug really bad with Claude over the last like 2 or 3 weeks. In the room right over there, there's 2 computers running, and Claude's
Amazing,
it's just resolving a bunch of stuff for me.
are you gonna give any classes on Claude itself?
I don't. I have imposter syndrome for most things, so I need to be like a high-end expert on something for me to get up here and teach something. And since I don't feel ready to teach it, like what Ramon has got up here before though and taught some stuff like what was some of the specific things you were talking about before? And I mean, a lot's changed just since then.
I don't know, maybe I just full e-com. How to run e-com business with AI.
Yeah, so he did that. Hopefully we can get some more of that. I would say what I would probably start doing, and it's going to be, I would say 60 days max. I'll start bringing in something on the screen. I'll probably use Claude, especially since I could do something. And the thing is, if I need to be here working on something the whole time and neglect everybody else in an event, it's not a good experience. Claude Cowork, though, would allow me to set something in motion. You could see it kind of going, and we're talking about it, why it's happening. So it'll be a better experience. But I'm looking at things like listing creation or evaluating ad reports, things that I could make a lot more exciting if I had someone up here with me kind of doing it and kind of looking at, this is what I look at when something like this happens. So like, the idea would be you're able to take that away and say, oh my God, this is what I'm going to use now in my business when I want to create a listing, or I want to tweak something, or I want to holidayify my A+ content. Like, this is what we do. I'll have that available, but I think it's going to be about 60 days for me to kind of set that up. But I mean, we're definitely going to talk more about AI, I would say, for the foreseeable future. Yeah. I can say we've gotten a lot of requests to turn our video vault, our, I don't know, 1,600 events, into an AI knowledge base, which seems kind of cool. We'll call it like Merlin or something, like a wizard, and you can ask it anything, and I don't know, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, as far as AI classes, I'd love to get somebody that teaches vibe coding.
Why are you looking at me?
Well, because I would, well, even if I find somebody, I'd want you to take a look at them, because you're going to know if they're kind of worth their weight. I don't know if somebody's a good vibe coder. You know, even though with Claude Code, and I haven't written any code, I've just been talking, and it's been coding. So like, I've written more code. I've written more code verbally, apparently, in the last 48 hours than I have my whole life. I'm a coding. I feel like I can code now. I'm just going to just refer to myself as I identify as a coder. Yeah, so really, really interesting. We might be on the same path soon, because video's going to be one of those other areas we look at more for the organization of videos. But while we're there, there's somebody at our Toastmasters network who's really good at AI video for social media, to sell products and stuff like that. So we're going to get like a training done on that. So I imagine that's going to be a topic that we're talking about a lot more. And that's proving to be something really popular with selling, really important for selling products. So yeah, good times.
When it comes to this delay, is there a code, any way to let them know that it will be referred by?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, let me pull it. I had it running. Oh, let me see. Brian says, I spend 5 hours a day on Claude on the 100 plan and only use 30 to 40%. So 200 is overkill for you. Dial it back. I got to find that usage bar, Brian, but you're probably right. I got so butthurt when they put me on pause. And then when they put you on pause, apparently you can't, it's like upgrade, get more credits. So I'm like, I go to get those credits, but it wouldn't allow me to input a card and accept it while I was on pause. So I needed to do it when I was out of pause. But then I got so excited that I was out of pause that I started working again and got paused again. And I was like, nah, never again. Not on my watch. So I just jumped into some overkill plan. But you're probably right. Okay, what was I going to do here? Oh, the slide. So here we go. Let me see. Let me see. Damn, that's pretty big. Hold on, it's going to come in a second.
Glad is a sponsor?
Yeah. They're a good sponsor. Here we go.
So it's specific for finance stuff.
No, this slide is speaking specific towards finance stuff, and I would say they're the strongest of the, let's call it staffing, if you will. They're the strongest of the staffers for the finance stuff that I know, specific to e-com. But I mean, they got it from AI to anything you'd need. Where they have the deepest bench is, you can go to onlinejobs.ph, you can go to Fire, you can go anywhere and get entry-level people. And you can get some entry-level people here. But if you wanted to go, if I needed to think one place in e-commerce where you could go to get a CEO for your company, just to go that extreme, it would be Belay. Yeah. Oh, how do I get out of here? Yeah, okay. And I think they have some kind of deal too. I don't know if it shows up on the QR code, but you could feel free to copy me in an email, CC me, or say Wizards of Ecom or Carlos, and they should give you some sort of deal. Like they're good. I got up to get my phone, and I didn't get my phone. What else? What's everybody else working on? What's new? We're in the beginner hour, so.
Have you been to Anula Braille?
They opened another one.
In South Miami.
Oh no, I used to go to the one in.
No, that's why I'm bringing it up.
Oh, then that's who I'm gonna go back to for.
A month ago.
Wow, did they say why they moved out of the other one? Was just like a downturn in business?
It had to do with the smokers. They couldn't have the smokers. Because that's a big issue, that when you're smoking, they have
Say.
to smoke somewhere else, something like
Yeah. Wow, yeah, that was good, man.
that. So the football players out, there's other partners involved, the original
Yeah,
plus other partners.
that's good.
They should be doing fine because they don't do Uber Eats. You can't call in a takeout, you gotta go there.
Yeah,
It's
that's,
a big place, it's a big place.
and it's in Miami Beach.
Across the street from Sunset Place, South Miami.
The bakery center.
Yeah, it's gonna be torn down soon.
Really?
I'm pretty sure they're gonna, a lot of things are happening there.
Wow.
They're gonna have apartments, different structure.
Damn.
It's a dead, it's an elephant, right? Pretty much. Only the movies, I think, are there and very limited businesses.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What else? What's going on in everybody's business? Nobody struggling on anything?
Nothing at all.
Nothing?
Everything's
Well,
great.
I'm struggling with the old problem that pretty much everybody has, which is picking a product to start.
Yep.
I've been here for the last, probably a few times the last 3 years, and that's always the thing that's holding me back, I think. But like one of the main reasons I came here today also was to ask for suggestions of companies or people who can help me promote something. Because I try a couple things, and I try promoting myself, like being my own marketing guy. And I've been on the business for a long, long time, like 20-something years. So like the things that I knew in the past have definitely updated. There's so many things, so many new things going on. So I think it's relevant to find somebody who's aware of what's going on right now.
The promotion, is it a product, a personal service, a different, like a bit?
Products, yeah.
Okay, it's an online product?
It's like a physical product.
Like an Amazon product?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, no, if it's promoting a product, I'm positive that I could help you, but maybe we talk about that outside of the, yeah.
But again, like, that's something for us to talk about later.
So, but you have a product that you need promoted, but you can't find a product for your next one? Is that what
No,
I'm?
no, I don't have a product. I have some ideas that I'm considering, but I know, like, once I get one,
Right.
I need to promote.
Well, yeah, no, you're thinking the right way. That's a conversation we should have outside of here. I can help you with both sides of that. And today, I'm going to talk to you about product selection.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, you should leave here with products. Like I have more product ideas than, that's what I do. Like some people do Sudoku, some people track different things. I have product ideas, and I have a Notion board that I put them, and then sometimes it's just an idea, and then I come back and I flesh them out and I flesh them out and I vet them, and very rarely do they get eliminated. So I got a really good eye for that. Sometimes they do, but initially they're half baked. It's just an idea, and then I start really baking this thing out, and I have a 100% success record when it's my product that I pick, and I had something to do with the idea of this thing from beginning to end. So that's my jam. So like I can help you with that. And you probably should leave today with some ideas for products.
Okay.
Now, most people, when they say, I don't know how to pick a product, I can't pick a product, my problem is picking a product, it really doesn't have to do with picking a product. It has to do with their risk tolerance or the capital they have. Let's say it what it is, the capital they're willing to risk to start their business. The smaller that amount is, the more limited you are in what you can pick. So if you decided you wanted to get into, I don't know, selling these, I don't know, just randomly, you want to start selling these boards, they might force you into, thing sells for, I think, $260. It's probably going to be $40 in cost, and they're going to put you in a 1,000 units. So I'm at $40,000 without your listing, without your trademark, without any ads, without anything. So if your budget going into this was, I have 10K, that's it, it's on a card, and that's what I got, then we need to adjust. So like, usually it falls into one of those two things. And what I like to know, and with this information, I can 100% get somebody a product that's a good product, is what is that budget that you have to work with? And almost any budget, I can give you a plan. What is that budget? What is your time budget? So like how much time do you have per week throughout the week to invest in building your business? And soft skills. That's like, this is actually one that I picked up from Vanessa a long time ago. Vanessa Hung, for those of you who remember that in the group. She said soft skills, and it made all the sense in the world, because like I would never recommend someone sell yoga mats, for an example. It's highly competitive, whole bunch of Chinese factories selling these things. But not that you fit this description, but if your thing is like you're part of a yoga community, or you have a yoga community, and you've been in yoga your whole life, and people know you as yoga, it's now I would probably explore yoga, because I'd be like, you have a community, you have a launch list that you can sell this to, you have people that know you, you can buy this, you don't need to sell it and compete on lowest price, you can sell higher. There's so many options that you can do, but Ramon's not going to do yoga mats, right? He doesn't. So no one sees downward facing dog happening there. So like,
No, they want to.
they want to though.
They would not.
They would not, nobody would want to.
Nobody would want to.
Nobody would want to. So those three things, and I can come up with a product. That doesn't stress you out to a high degree, because quality of life matters. But yeah, we'll get in.
And then just to finish this point, I think like the reason I need to that kind of professional help for the promotion is that if I'm willing, I tried once a while ago as a service, and I used Facebook to promote. Actually, after one of these meetings, I was like, instead of focusing on Amazon, let's think about something that can promote on Facebook, right? And I tried promotion and got nothing. I mean,
Promoting a product or a service?
service.
Yeah.
I got
What service?
It was training Spanish language for professionals, like getting all the Zoom classes together online. And even when I offered for free, I didn't get a response at all. Right?
Yeah.
So I got kind of traumatized. Like if I'm gonna put money on a product, I want to make sure somebody knows how to promote this thing because I might not know.
You're
I
think,
used to, like 30 years ago, when I was in Brazil, I used to work with marketing. So my skills are from that time. Like I've been in the military for 21 years, so I'm totally out of marketing, right? So if I want to put money in, I want to make sure there's somebody who knows what the hell that person's doing.
for sure. You're thinking the right way. I think thinking, and we're probably going to touch on that a few times in a couple minutes when we start this next piece, but knowing where you're going to sell the product and how is a critical step that I think most people skip, especially when it becomes to Amazon, because they just think, oh, Amazon's going to do it. And years ago, when I started, that was the case. I mean, you could just list something on Amazon and the main image fell off and it would sell. But that's not the case anymore. It's expensive to rank. There's a lot of competitors there. And then you had this period where a lot of people were doing really good, and I don't know if that's when you were doing your Facebook ads. But when was Cambridge Analytica? That was 2024?
I think earlier. It was
20?
yeah, 2021.
2018?
Before COVID.
Before COVID, yeah. But a lot of people pulled ad budget from Facebook around that time and then needed somewhere to stick that ad budget, and they stuck it in Amazon. So there began a shift around that time of, you even had people, Ramon knows one of the people I'm talking about, I won't say the person's name, this person created a video showing how he was beating Coleman head to head on a Coleman lantern, right? Because of basically his marketing savvy. And what he was doing was he was doing giveaways and these URL tricks. And Coleman didn't even want their product listed on the platform. And they were neck and neck, but he would show up higher in search. But what happened is right after Cambridge Analytica, a lot of these brands started saying, okay, we're there. Maybe we start investing a little bit and paying attention to the platform. So now on Amazon, you have some really big players that are paying attention, have some very serious ad budgets, and some really, really sharp people on the platform. And now some of those sharp people are armed with AI. So it's going to be interesting. But these people, they're now interested, whereas before they were only interested in selling in Lowe's and Home Depot and all these other places. But now they want to pay attention to Amazon. So knowing where you're going to sell it and how you're going to sell it is really important. Yeah. All right, what else for the beginner hour as we wrap up the beginner hour? You got an AI tip you want to share?
Go slow.
Go slow, really go slow.
Go slow, keep going.
What's new in your world?
Mine?
Yeah.
Nothing. All the same.
PPC is getting cheaper, products easier to find.
No, it's actually getting more expensive. I just wonder, what are your guys' thoughts on the Prime Day? Are you doing any deals? Is it working for you? Because there was one deadline to submit all the coupons and promotions by May 26th, and now they extended for the next week. So just wondering if nobody's doing anything and just Amazon trying to get more.
I'm on the camp of just letting it ride and
I'm gonna get a water.
the extra for especially if you have a triple profit, but overall, it's, I don't see the point of.
I advise anybody who listens to me, unless you have a subscription-based product, or preferably a subscription-based product, and need to gain a lot of market share, outside of that, I recommend people avoid Prime Day. I don't understand outside of that why, like, you don't make money. Yeah, that's, and I'm kind of
I mean,
past.
if you want to liquidate a lot of inventory, it's a great day for you to do so.
Sure, sure.
You know, it's funny.
But even then, if you have a product that you need to liquidate, it's probably doing so bad
Well, no,
that
I mean, like,
even,
like if you wanna, you bought way too much of an inventory, it's still moving, it's gonna be good, but.
sure,
But you wanna move through inventory, great, yeah.
sure.
Prime Day is a great day, otherwise,
And these comments are strictly to the Prime deal or like applying to coupons and all that stuff around Prime Day?
I think trying to maximize your conversion is great, but the problem is all the fees. The fees associated with participating in Prime Day, they're not,
No, I think,
generally not worth it.
yeah, they take all your profit. So I don't, and the halo effect afterwards is not, I don't think it's worth it.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. I don't think it's worth it. I like to see the money accumulate and make money and profits than just look at top of page one or grow on some keyword. I mean, if I would stay sticky afterwards but no, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I wouldn't get involved. It's shocking that every year it gets better and better and more people are getting involved, but
And now, yeah, but now it's like, yeah, 4 Prime Days on the year and everyone is a new fee and a new percentage and a new this and new that. It's like, no. Man.
I don't understand. I would,
Now, TikTok is having a Prime Day very, very soon. That's the first time they ever do it or they only do it a year. That's interesting.
no, they do it annually. This will be the third one.
Third one, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But when they just wanna clobber you 4 times a year and every new one, there's a new fee that you have to deal with?
Yeah, I don't get it at all. Yeah. You thinking about getting in? Have you done any other ones previous years?
I used to sell, you know what's interesting? I used to sell air conditioners and.
Can somebody throw him the mic? Throw him one of those mics? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
I used to sell air conditioners and they were big, bulky, expensive items and we used to sell specifically on Amazon as 3P. And we never considered that as a Prime Day product whatsoever because it's not something that, it's not something you buy for the Prime specifically. But for the few years we did is like reduction in pricing, let's say 5%, 10% based off the 90-day trail where I was on Amazon, and people used to buy it in advance. So they thought that's going to be the lowest price of the year, and sales just skyrocketed. Even though it's not just a Christmas item, it was not just line of the shelf. Back in, let's say, 2-3 years, it was the best 2 days in the year we had the most sales of the year.
Prime Day.
Yeah, Prime.
And what are you selling now?
I sell brake pads.
Brake pads.
Yeah, and rollers. It's a different category. It's automotive.
Jesus Christ. I've seen some searches for brake pads. It's,
How did you get into brake pads?
It's not my product. I just work for the company.
Okay.
yeah, that's hard to stand out in brake pads. There's a was it Blackstone? I don't know. You mess with some of their listings, but it was, yeah, it was dizzying. Yeah. What else?
Just to be close on that, how about use it as a strategy for like new items to the catalog or something like a kickstart, use Prime Day or Prime Month for that?
I mean, you could. I just think there's better things you could do. And if you did those things, maybe the argument is do them at the same, in conjunction with. First of all, would you be able to get those, would you be able to do Prime Day as a new launch product? I don't know that you'd be able to.
Qualifies for the like the reviews and
I don't think, no, I don't think it would make sense. Like, so you're talking about at least after it has its Vine reviews? So how long has the product been selling?
Well, it's basically variation to a parent, like a child.
I don't think it'd be needed. The hack, the sweet thing that works right now is TikTok influencers for your product. That's it. Listed on TikTok Shop. Go controlled crazy with the influencers that you're getting to, or user-generated content creators that you're going to get to do it, and it's pretty shocking how well your product starts ranking on Amazon. I mean, there's some other things you need to do to make all that work, but it's not 100%. Like nothing is. It costs the same or a little more than what you would spend on Amazon, but you technically could do that, have a better success rate at ranking, and not spend Amazon ads. And I think Amazon would like the external traffic more.
How is TikTok affecting Amazon rank?
My opinion is that Amazon doesn't weigh all transactions the same. I've seen someone send a bunch of traffic from their email. I've seen someone not spend any and just do it from Amazon PPC. I've seen it done with, you know, in the past with three-step URLs. I've seen someone running a campaign on TikTok, and that traffic that's built over, it looks like you rank a lot faster and a lot stronger when you use TikTok. So I just express it as Amazon not weighing all external traffic the same. I can't prove it.
So TikTok pushes straight to your Amazon store? That's what you're saying?
No, what happens is, for the most part, have you ever shopped on TikTok?
No.
So what's going to happen is if you started using TikTok, eventually going to come across a product that you like, or and it's probably going to be some stupid little widget that you've never seen anywhere else, and it's selling for almost nothing. But you go to check out, and do you shop on Amazon?
Yeah.
Right, so you have an Amazon Prime account and you know, so what's gonna happen is you're gonna put all your information in there and create a profile on TikTok, or you're just gonna pop over to Amazon and buy the product on Amazon, and you know you're gonna get it the next day. But when you go to Amazon, you're not gonna search for the description of that widget you looked at, you're gonna search for it by brand name. So it's gonna be, you go over, search by brand name, and you buy that product. So a good percentage, and to me it seems to be growing, what that percentage is, of the people that are shopping on TikTok, they wind up buying it on Amazon. So I think it has a lot to do with feeling safer. I don't know how much of it is safety and how much is convenience.
We are very accustomed to our 1 to 2 day shipping.
Yeah.
TikTok Shop does not have 2-day shipping. Amazon does.
Yeah.
You are rather pay $3 more in Amazon and get it in 1 day than $3 less and get it in a week.
Yeah, convenience too, all that. We're trained on what the process is if there is something wrong with the product. We know 100% we're gonna be taken care of in a great way. I don't know TikTok might have a better return policy than Amazon for all I know. I don't even care to look it up. But like, I buy on Amazon. So even me wanting to like test out the TikTok Shop experience, when I see something, I still just jump over to Amazon and look at it. Unless I'm just supporting a friend on TikTok Shop. But that's what happens. A chunk of them just go over to Amazon to buy. I can't prove one way or the other that Amazon ranks you more off of TikTok traffic, but having seen and having the ability to be able to see a lot of different people and being on the back end and see a lot of different people that I know what's turned on and what's not turned on. And I was like, wow, whenever it comes from TikTok, it seems to have a much bigger impact than when it comes from somewhere else. So I just express it as that, but I can't prove it.
I don't think that's the case. I think it's just raw data spillover. All of a sudden, this product went from 10 orders a day to 100 orders a day. And
Right, but the amount of effort or money that it took in ads, it just seems like it requires less and you get more.
With TikTok?
Seems like you do, yeah. But I don't, I wouldn't even know how to be able to like quantify that and prove it definitively. I don't know if it's possible. And at the end of the day, it's not the same product at the same time, so it's difficult. It seems that way. What I can say is that if your only way of ranking products moving forward, if like the only tool in your toolbox is just brute forcing Amazon ads, like I think that has an expiration date on it. That because you want to make money. If you have a product that it's a one-time product, meaning it doesn't have it doesn't have any LTV, it doesn't have any subscription to it or anything like that. I think, and it doesn't sell for over $50. I think, not $50 is kind of high. Let's say it doesn't sell for over $30. I think Amazon's going to get more and more challenging. Like I think, I wouldn't want to be in that position. Yeah. All right. Anybody want to use a bathroom break or anything before we get started into the next piece? Yeah. Keep. No. It's good. I'm glad. Well, no, it 100% depends on the product, on whether to answer that. Amazon does have a higher return rate than other platforms. I feel that because of that, it's also why so many people shop on it just as like their main source, and that's where they shop because of that. So I think the net effect is better for us. There's certain categories that are a lot worse than others. I would say anything that has sizes like apparel or shoes. I mean, look at the things you might return the most, or your wife might return the most, or whatever. Like my wife returns a good bit of stuff, and it's almost all in the apparel space. So certain, I mean, toothbrushes don't get returned. So it depends. I mean, it's part of doing business. You have some bad actors that get a really nice pair of shoes, go out on their Tinder, and then come back and return it. You know, and come back and return it. So like, but that's everywhere. Also, it is higher than other places, but you're seeing it like at the Whole Foods because it's so like out in the open. But all these retail stores, they deal with it all the time. That's just mailed back to them. They're like, returns it's not just an Amazon thing. I would, if I was sourcing a product and I was product agnostic, I'd look for a product that doesn't have much moving parts, doesn't break easy, and probably has a lower return rate than other categories. You probably have a very low return rate.
3%?
3%.
But the majority of it is reused.
3%, and it's cards. That's kind of high for cards. Yeah. It's playing cards. Like, why would somebody, unless it's a missing card or something, like why would they return it? No.
But the majority is like, oh, didn't want it, I didn't authorize, didn't want it. So, because Amazon makes it so easy. So
Right.
it just goes back into the rotation, and then you always have stuff that is open, then cannot be sold.
So what do you do for returns?
Amazon takes care of it.
Oh, sorry?
Amazon takes care of returns.
No, but then the actual product, what do you do with that?
So again, 3% or 3 out of 100 sales get returned. out of that, 1 out of 100 cannot be restored. And then you can determine what you want to do with it. You can either pay to destroy it, you can have it sent back to you, you can liquidate it. There's a lot of different things that you can do.
What is the best,
Depending on-
what is the best option for you?
The reason depends, like for example, when I was selling apparel gets a lot of returns, 15%, for example. So, usually people return apparel and, it's fine, but sometimes Amazon marks it as unsellable. And because I understood how apparel worked, a lot of unsellable stuff is just, like they rip the tag off. So you just bring it back to your warehouse, you inspect it, oh, it's perfectly new, put a new tag on it and sell it. For
Yeah, that
example.
happened one time to me, they, sent me 24 bags of a product which are in perfect condition. So I thought, I have to pay for the back and forth, the sort of damage and all the thing, so, hey,
There will always be bad actors. There
Yeah.
will always, and it's not an Amazon specific thing. There will always be somebody who takes advantage of the situation, and Amazon makes it very easy to return stuff. So
So the ones that got returned and they were perfect shape, who replaced them? Amazon?
Amazon.
Okay.
most of the time.
I returned ones,
I'm gonna get my computer set up for the next week.
Guys,
when I did return, they said it goes free.
Aye. Aye.
Alex, el lunes a ver si te llamo y vemos cómo cuadramos
Ok.
qué día nos
Sí.
queda. ¿Ok?
Sí.
Gracias por todo,
Sí.
interesante.
Ok.
Ahora sí que, ¿de dónde han salido todas las ideas de aquí?
Sí.
Voy diciendo, hombre.
Gracias. Connect us if you.
Yeah.
No, ya yo le mandé tu
Ok.
teléfono. Thank you,
Gracias.
okay?
Thank you, Carlito.
Product that we usually, like there's two variations, the transfer. One was what Ramon says, like it's mostly reusable. Another one was like only for that and they had like a catalog of replacement parts anyway, even when they were like charged, right? You were the product, you were the replacement parts, and you need. So if they have those variations, they'll transform those in like returns, or transform in replacement parts, which will later be used, right, and you don't need to rework it. And another one was where if the product is like resellable but it looks like used, they open a second brand or like an outlet of the brand, so they sell it but like a discounted price, kind of like a higher price retail sale.
I bought like a food and they didn't even accept returns. So who sets that policy of returns? So they kept the money, but they didn't allow you to return. But Amazon, or is it that case the
Amazon, yeah.
seller?
Let me see. All right, how do we get this done? Let me see. Okay. Need to get like an extender or something to. What do I gotta do here? feel like I need to tell Claude on this computer, I was like, I'm sorry I'm closing you. Jesus Christ, I got so many tabs open. Okay. Okay, here we go.
It's like Inception.
What? Okay, here we go.
Here.
What?
Hello? Yeah.
Oh, guys, the entire screen.
Why don't you get Claude to do it for you, man?
Next week.
Next
Next week. Okay, so you see, I should be able to.
We don't really need to see your nose bro. Come on, just move the camera.
Is it still showing me?
Yeah.
Well, that's not what we want to do.
Let's give you something better to look at.
There you go. That works.
It's not what I'm trying to do either, but
Hold on,
why is it showing that camera though? See if I can.
Now let's see what's in your feet, in your outer fly.
Ah!
Okay. There you go. So everybody should see my screen. I might need to turn this. Am I logged in? I probably should have like tested this before. Let's just put I don't know. Let's just put a random search. All right, so I should, if anybody on the stream, you should be able to see the screen. Just want to make sure that you do. It's been a bit since I've done this. All right, we'll get to that in a second. If anybody can, if you don't mind, like open the Wizards of Ecom YouTube, just, you see it? Yeah, okay.
It's not full screen.
It's not full screen?
I mean, you can see the desktop.
So I would do it here. And how do I do this?
So you're streaming straight from the website now?
From the computer?
No, you can, your streaming is accessible from the website, from your website? Or
From YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so let me get one real quick snap. By the way, help yourself to the snacks and coffee.
I will.
Let me eat this off camera so my trainer doesn't see it. All right. Salud. Help me when we can, when we're asking questions and stuff, to toss those mics around, those two cubes, so everyone on the stream can get it. And also, so afterwards, if you want to reference this video and there's a question and there was some back and forth about it and you want to like rehear it, you can catch the conversation. But it's meant to be like a back and forth conversation, finding products for me, profitable products to sell and ideas and say? Yeah, random. finding products to sell, easy products to sell is a very easy thing for me. I've launched a lot of products over the years. But knowing where, to Vinny's point, knowing where you're going to sell that product is extremely important in the beginning. I just pulled this one up randomly over the years. I've talked about this category a lot.
I gave you the category 8 years ago, something like that.
It's not how it went, but it was a Jungle Scout tool that I was using of yours at the time. So you're stealing the thunder. But I have a content-first approach. I've always had like a content-first approach towards private label or product sourcing. You don't have to have it, so you can cherry pick what you like about what I'm going to say and how I approach products and apply what you want. But just in case, you could do exactly what I'm going to share here to come up with your own products. I never, even before Amazon PPC was as expensive as it is, I never wanted to be a 100% slave to Amazon's PPC costs. So I would choose a product based on it having other ways that I can sell it. I've always been a huge fan of email. If you're going to sell a product via email, you need to know that you can create content on email. Bonsai is a great example of this because when we talk about stuff that has to do with bonsai, you immediately get a visual of what a bonsai plant looks like. This doesn't mean that a person should sell bonsai plants, but in the video you're going to see all kind of accessories that they're using. I brought this up, and we're going to use this as an example a little bit because I've never talked about using TikTok as a source for this, but one of the biggest places for content creation, especially content creators, that we could get to sell our product is TikTok. So if you have a product idea, or you're thinking about a product that you'd like to sell, one of the easiest things I find myself doing a lot now is, instead of searching on Amazon whether this thing exists, is looking on Amazon and looking on TikTok and saying, is anyone creating on this? If your product is a very visual product, it's going to lend itself very well to TikTok. So why not start there? Just like I'd start with content. If you don't know what to search for the product, you should skip the product. Because you should, if you're looking at anything in the bonsai space, you should know that you should search probably just the word bonsai, bonsai enthusiast, bonsai TikTok, and whatnot. But anybody want to give me another search of a potential product they just have on the top of their head, and I'll like vet whether I think it's a good product or not, like no cards. We could do cards, whatever.
Bonsai's great, though.
What?
Bonsai's great.
Bonsai's great, but
Water bottles?
water bottles? Sure. I'm doing the mouse here and I'm looking up there. Okay. Yeah. So I was going to tell you that I think water bottles is a horrible thing to pick before I looked it up. And seeing this, I'm going to support that I don't like it. Let me ask you, this row right here, what water bottle gets your attention?
Girl.
Right. And what about this row? Right. So like, I look at that and I'm like, yeah, it got my attention. And like initially I'm like, well, yes, it could sell. You just got to make sure you focus on that. You could do that with any product. That doesn't mean it lends itself well to content. So it would be a hard pass for me. It doesn't move around. There's no ASMR effect to it. You know, but what else? Really? You guys alive today? Let's look at marshmallows. think marshmallows would lend themselves really well to TikTok. They're squishy, they move. You get a tiny bit of dye to them and they change colors. You can turn them into shapes. You can add them to stuff. There's a whole bunch of things you can do with marshmallows. If you wanted to work with a creator and you wanted them to do 30 different videos, it'd be very easy, even without AI, to come up with 30 easy different videos that they could do with marshmallow related stuff. And then depending on the crowd you're going for, depends on the type of creator you're going for. Maybe you want to get healthy fitness marshmallows or protein marshmallows, and then maybe you want one of the gym models that you saw in the other one doing your marshmallows. So like bringing those two things together would totally work. But like a random thing like marshmallow works. You guys want another one?
Has to go colorful, has to be easily demonstrable, ASAP.
There's a big exception to that, but yes.
What's the
About,
exception?
I'm sorry,
No.
about specialty teas.
Tea.
Not t-shirts, like tea as in drinking tea.
Like drinking tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to put in tea first. This will be a good one. I think tea by itself doesn't really,
Infusion.
but when we get up tea, we got a whole bunch of different teapot with infuser. That looks good. This is a product that I would say never sell on Amazon. Never. Horrible, horrible product to sell on Amazon. If you knew what you were doing though, on TikTok, with some influencers and you diverted a good bit of budget here, I think it's possible. If it was a pure Amazon play, you would die. It would be really bad, but this is possible.
Because,
Sorry?
would die because,
You would die because the people, someone's gonna go to Amazon and they're gonna search tea infuser, and they're gonna see a boatload of tea infuser stuff. Maybe you're the best image, maybe not. But even if you are the best image, you're tied with somebody else who's selling for, I don't know, $17 cheaper in China. You're not brand loyal to your tea infuser. So what are you basing that off of? Who's got more reviews and cheapest price? So cheapest price means you ain't making much money in your business, and more reviews means you're gaming the system at some point and you're running a risk on your business. So you don't want to do that to get shut down. But this is, it's easy, it's very easy, it's very demonstrable. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do with color. ASMR is a big one when you can do it. ASMR, everybody familiar with ASMR?
No.
Huh? So ASMR is, no, ASMR is,
What is it? I know what it means, but what is it?
Manufacturer suggested retail
What
price.
does it stand for?
Claude, what, no.
Manufacturer suggested retail price.
Yeah, ASMR, but there's a channel that my kids and I watch before they go to bed, and it's this Asian guy with these black food grade gloves.
Autonomous sensory meridian response.
Right, so they get these high-end mics, and say someone has a mic right next to their mouth, and they're just eating food, and you're like, that noise, you might not like it when somebody's sitting across from you, but people get sucked into that sort of noise. There's a different noise for everything. Like some people just get tinfoil and go, and you get sucked into it. You're like, who listens to this stupid stuff? And you're there 45 minutes later, you know? There's an ASMR, like that sound, sensory, audio sensory sound that comes from things. That's a big one. So pouring water into a glass is a big ASMR effect. Squishing something is a big ASMR draw. So like if your product is demonstrable, vibrant, easy to demonstrate what's demonstrable, and has some ASMR to it, like those are some powerful features that you can use for your product. One of the exceptions that I was going to talk about is supplements. Supplements, on the face of them, is just a jar of supplements. So it's very difficult to just look at the product and say it's not very demonstrable. It's not, there's really no ASMR unless somebody's sitting there shaking the jar of supplements. So there's no what is the, why is it an exception? Exception is, gets more into the editing and how you're presenting it. A lot of people are doing great right now. What's that channel? Maybe I can pull it up. Can that be shown?
Which one?
The Instagram.
You can show it, I mean, it's not mine, so.
Yeah.
But I don't remember when I sent it to you. Your best idea was.
Go.
That's all I.
No, but go into our WhatsApp, search by link, and you'll find it, because I just referenced it to somebody, and then email me that link. I'll pull it up. But this person, it'll give you a really good idea. This person has a supplement, and it's good for the gut. And what's pulling the person in is this presentation, and it's not a real person. I think most people wouldn't know that it's not a real person. I think all of us are going to know that it's not a real person. But it's a video of an Amish woman talking about the importance of, you know, the horrible stuff that's in Doritos and how this is solved with whatever. There's a lot of like human psychology behind that. There's a lot of like, why did they pick an Amish woman? Why didn't they pick a baseball player? And it's because that the Amish naturally lend themselves to wholesome, natural, down to earth. So there's a lot of stuff there and how they pick it. So it's not like you're just going to go to AI and say, create me a video that sells gut supplements. Like the person did this, knew what they were doing. There was a lot there. The script that was involved in it was really important. But to give you an idea, if Ramon ever finds it, you're going to find it. Let me pull this up, and then I'm going to put it, and then I'm going to find it for Ramon, because he doesn't have his glasses.
I don't have my glasses, yes.
What was the problem?
It's not in WhatsApp, that's what I'm telling you.
Yes, it is. Look, I already found it.
Maybe text,
No. I got it.
you got it?
Saying. I got to do it all. I got to do it all. What's the best way for me to do this? Share to. I do WhatsApp? Open in WhatsApp. Ugh. There we go.
There's so many versions of the Amish supplements now. I can see just by search.
Well, this one doesn't.
Even an Amish.
No, this one doesn't portray it as an Amish supplement. It's,
No, I mean like an Amish persona I see.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's so many food already.
Oh, I know, there it is. You got it now?
Thank you.
I was looking for it.
Yeah. I see why you're in love with Claude. You can find anything.
Got it for me.
Yeah, you're getting rusty. Watch this thing make me sign in now after all this. Oh, there we go. Oh, I don't have the speakers on, so you're not going to get the audio, but you don't really need the audio. Let's, will it? With no audio. But like, you see the text that's there, and it's this sweet, old Amish voice, and talking about all the crap that's put on these fruits for them to survive, cross-country trucking and whatnot. Commercial blueberries are sprayed with chemical stabilizers and all these different things. They're all fact. Like, you're looking at this, and none of this is stuff you've not heard before. But you're sucked in because this looks like somebody you should listen to. And even if you know, which is really good about this is why this is impressive to me, even though you hopefully know this is AI, I think a lot of people probably don't. But even though you know this is AI, you're impressed with, it seems to be a smart AI, like the person's saying stuff that's helpful. And these all end with a call to action comment the word, whatever, and help you, and it takes you to this. This would be a horrible product to launch unless if it was just a pure brute force Amazon ad launch. I've been talking ever since Ramon showed me this this Instagram. I've been looking at I've been showing as an example to so many people that I've done research on the product, and I was like, man, I would not recommend this product to anybody to sell. But obviously, if you can do content, if you know how to play the TikTok side of it, you can launch almost anything now. I don't think this person's running Amazon ads. Or if they are, it's very little, because I've gone on and searched pretty much any keyword that looks like it's important to them. I don't see them surfacing in an ad.
And they probably get the 10% discounts because of the link.
Yeah, so they're more profitable per sale. I don't think they're running Amazon ads. That doesn't mean they're saving money. They're probably spending, I don't know. I don't know, I'm not familiar with the true cost that goes into those videos. Right, there's a cost associated with that video creation. It might not be, no, he might be cheaper to launch it that way, because this is not a cheap space to launch products in with Amazon ads. But I'm getting off course because this gets me a little, a little excited. The thing is though, the exception is supplements. When you can do something else, like if you have Beto, you know, we do a before and after, and Beto used to have all white hair. But Beto started using a special shampoo. Oh, he stopped the video. He doesn't want to show this part. Beto uses a special shampoo to bring the color back. Yeah, he used to be bald. And it's growing back rapidly. Ramon used to be skinny. No. So like, you have these things and you got to supplement. So if it starts off with that person and then in the video, it shows like, again, if you needed to create this pre-AI, it was a lot of money. But you're showing this thing traveling down the pathway of the intestines, and it's an AI video, like a anatomical, like what's going on, and showing like blooms of red inflammation, and this thing hitting, and the blooms go away. Like red is bad, green is good, that type of thing. But you show those effects using AI, and you could just describe it that way. Like you could grab that really bad description that I just gave you with blooms and all that stuff, put it into an AI, and it'll know what you're talking about. And you could create stuff like that. So if you're willing to do that, then the exception is supplements.
The exception?
To this easily demonstrable, because the supplements themselves are not easily demonstrable. So supplements, creams, and a lot of stuff like that, they're not, well, creams have you can show creams, but like anything like a pill, apple cider vinegar, that stuff is not easily demonstrable. You probably know that it tastes bad. It's questionable of what's inside.
You might not be easy to demonstrate that, but you can actually show the person enjoying the benefits. Like for instance, like for the tea, having a person sitting on the couch and just relaxing, watching TV, as the person's drinking the tea is something that
You have to assume the person was highly stressed and unable to relax first. So how did you communicate that? So like if you had a channel that talked a lot about stressful life, and then there was something in there that's showing the person like highly stressed and can't concentrate, and then all of a sudden there's the tea and they relax. I mean, yeah, that's marketing. I wouldn't know. I don't think that's really like the type of marketing here that UGC creators do to play on they're playing on a fear to get you to jump over and buy this thing on Amazon, or buy it on TikTok Shop, and then a chunk of them will just go over and buy it on Amazon. What other, let's do like one or two more.
I have this in my mind. Something different.
Okay. How do you spell it? So it's a supplement.
It's been used as a filter, as a
think I know my answer to this. It's an insect killer.
Yeah. No.
Damn.
As a repellent, as a pool filter, as a supplement.
You know, I was ready to just, I'm not ready to say this is good. This creator's good. I would really like to, damn. This is good. This is kind of like what we're trying to do right now. This is like exactly what I would. Damn. I love it. Oh my God. You're okay. So I've not done, for anybody that knows this product better than me, other than any research. I just heard of this right now. I've never heard of this product before. I can tell just by glancing at it, I really don't think there's anything else I would find to say that this is an easy product. I think it'd be a very difficult product to do on Amazon. The weights on some of these things, you're talking about a relatively heavy product that's selling that much in sales at that price point. There's plenty of room for ads. If it was just an Amazon ad launch, I don't like it. The fact that there's some creators and a whole bunch of videos on TikTok with that, I think it's a potential. Wow, just when you think you've seen it all.
So what is it?
Fertilizers?
Insect killer.
It's an insect killer.
It has also this effect of
Apparently, it's also good for your gut.
you just find something new that you didn't know, and it has this effect of, oh my God, this is magic, I just found out, I didn't know like 2 minutes ago. So this has this effect of newness.
Diatomaceous earth for my pets.
As a repellent, right.
So there's a food grade. Apparently, there's a plant one. You got a whole bunch of competition, Miguel.
I knew the product because a lot of pool filter use that.
Pool filters use it.
As a pool
Well, no, so at a quick glance, it looks like a heck of an opportunity. I wouldn't create one listing that you could use for everything. You might even be looking at different brands because I wouldn't want to put Diatomas Pool in the same brand, even in a different SKU as Diatomas Ingest Human for my kid or my pet. But I would create different SKUs for each one and I'd really hone in on it. So if it's one about pools, it would be that. Very clear pool branding on that thing and I'd go after pools. I wouldn't create one listing that has all of that in one title. And I would 100% turn it into a TikTok play. I do this all the time. I'm liking looking at TikTok for products. And if you wanted to bring in software, I didn't want to show software because I don't want anyone running out of here spending money on software. But Calodata is, yeah, he's gonna run out and buy it. I'll send you the link because you get the affiliate for the extra coffee. But Calodata, K-A-L-O-A, Data. I thought you were like in Taiwan. You came back or you never left?
Yeah, I never have in the morning, that's why I'm all beat up.
Oh, you look fresh. So Calodata's one and then the other one is, it's a Fat Moss?
Fat mouse?
I think it's Fast Moss or Fat Moss. You remember? I think it's Fast Moss. We have it connected to it. We don't have to log into it anymore, and we just see the results from it with Callow data. But it's a separate one. But I think with Callow data, you're fine.
What about product opportunity explorer? You don't use that at all?
Ever. Yeah, ever. Or any recommendation that Amazon says, hey, I think you should sell this product. There's an opportunity. Just avoid it. Avoid their PPC advice. Avoid their products advice. Take a grain of salt with all the data they talk about products that could be good. Avoid Jungle Scout. Avoid Helium 10. I think you should avoid those in the early product selection phase. I think there's a time to bring them in a little later. Right now, with what's working the best, is easy to do and it's free. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the softwares are kind of just trying to piggyback and pull from it, is TikTok right now for fine. Even if your goal is not to just launch and do a TikTok store, like even if you want to do an Amazon product launch, using TikTok as a product explorer is phenomenal.
What's it gonna take for Instagram to finally go after TikTok? Seriously.
I don't know. I'm still holding out that YouTube buys FedEx.
Google, you mean? Google buys FedEx?
Yeah.
It turns it into a competitor?
A distribution arm that has a prep center, and now you have YouTube as a sales channel. I don't know. Or they don't have to buy them, but I think something like that will happen if there's a merger of any of the big three. If like a DHL and a UPS combine, then it's gonna be like, oh my God, whoever got left out of that, you need to figure something out. They're not gonna let Amazon buy them. Who does that leave? Who would want it? Not Oracle, not Apple, like.
I would hope that happens.
Yeah, but I don't know. Remember I have a GED too, so take it with a grain of salt. Like anytime I start talking about like geopolitics and like mergers and stuff, like I don't know what I'm talking about. This is a really good one. This is gonna like have my gears going. It's obviously very demonstrable with stuff like this. The fact that there's so many, I mean, that would make me stop. I would want to know what is the one thing that all that is attracted to or repels. Anytime you could bring a pet involved, that's nice. I'm a sucker for these types of things, like under a microscope type looks. Like I think it's good. If you have someone that's in the agriculture or gardening space, you're gonna get them. Yeah. Good one. Really good.
But it's for lawn or for pets, I guess you can use it for everything, apparently. For your wife.
Yes. All right. Let's do like one more. That was good. You thinking about it? That's really good. Let's look at well, you know what another thing that there's a cool opportunity with, and again, I'm not saying we should go this way, 'cause it's not a huge business opportunity, but there's opportunities now on TikTok for, it seems like if you want to launch a private label product on Amazon now, you almost have to think this thing needs to fall somewhere in the 7-figure range or to make sense of it after all the fees and whatnot and still be left with something good. On TikTok, there's still plenty of opportunity to launch something to make, $50,000, $60,000 extra per year or something like that. There's a lot of little, like early days Amazon, there was a lot of stuff where a lot of opportunity where you could just go on AliExpress and find this like glow-in-the-dark dog collar type of thing, and you could just like get it and just launch this thing on Amazon and you'd make a couple extra bucks. That's done on Amazon. It's not done on TikTok. And for certain products you can, I just bought this. You guys remember Hellraiser, the movie? Who was that old? Right? Do you remember? You were born. You were totally born. You guys remember Hellraiser? The main villain is this like white, like it's like chalk white head with pins coming out of it. His name is Pinhead. And when the movie starts, there's this cube that opens into these weird, like it's almost like an industrial medieval shaped cube that opens and it unlocks the gates of hell or something. I saw some creators doing some videos of this on TikTok, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm gonna buy this. And it was like $4.97.
Can't believe you bought it.
Yeah. Yeah, $4.97. But when I looked at the product on the TikTok shop, it had sold a few thousand units. You would never have sold that on Amazon. If you sold it for $4.97, it means you lost $6 per sale. And so like there's some still, I like seeing that. Like there's some cool opportunities there for making a couple extra bucks if you want.
And it's $4 shipping.
$4.97 all in. I don't know.
How they ship it?
It's indestructible, is what I learned from it. This thing is like,
Right.
but it came in a poly mailer with no protection, no box, no anything.
It's actually $2.99 right now, $2.99.
Really?
You overpaid.
I'm gonna have Claude go back into my past purchases. That is wild. So let's.
Another example for
Yeah.
one for the next one. There's a friend of mine, Guatemala, who mentioned about this product. We've been talking about opening business for a while. Maybe we can try it. It's called Cardamomo. CARDAMOMO.
Semilla.
So they're mixing that with chocolate or tea. I never heard of that until last week. Apparently it's the most expensive spice out there.
I like it. And by at this stage, me saying I like it, all that means is let's do more research and check this thing out. But Jesus Christ.
There's better out there.
It's what?
There's better opportunities out there.
Yeah. You know, it's doable, but I agree that there's better opportunities. Some of these are like, don't really make sense. What gets my attention? $24.99, 4 ounces, and then $21.75, 8 ounces. That's a big.
So just to be clear, it was not about selling the pods, because I checked and it was free. Still a lot of people out there, even big names like 365. It's about mixing that with chocolate, like creating chocolate for the bars. With that in it, because it's such a big deal when it comes to spice, being the spice.
Protein bar. This looks interesting. So I would look for this with chocolate.
What's the keyword, chocolate?
Cardamomo chocolate. So like what I start thinking initially on that is, I think there's easier opportunities if you're doing the pods. Like you said, you're not looking for the pods. Talking about putting it into chocolate, I like that. So you're differentiating and you're bringing two things together. I think that's an amazing thing to do. Seems like there's one out there that has some traction, but totally, like, I wouldn't be intimidated of them, with like truffle chocolate. And it looks like they're appealing as like, using it as like a high-end gift for a woman. It seems like there's a lot of benefits to the spice. I think I would approach it with chocolate, like like what you're talking about, but approaching it from the health benefits and doing that on TikTok. But yeah, but it looks like there's easier stuff to do. Like we've looked at easier stuff today already.
Seems to me like you're saying that if you're gonna start a new brand today, and you have to choose between TikTok and PPC, you choose TikTok.
Well, I think if we're just starting this and doing TikTok, I think TikTok's the lowest hanging fruit right now for Amazon product launches. I don't think you should not sell on Amazon. And we're talking about using TikTok as a way to surface product opportunities. I surface product opportunities just by walking around, but I get that most people's main issue is finding product opportunities to sell. So they rely on these softwares. I think software steer you down the wrong path. Or they steer you down the path where everybody else is going, which is creating a problem if there's not one already. So using something like TikTok and not a software usually puts you ahead. I think you should have an Amazon product launch, or Amazon be your platform for launch, but I think you should be using TikTok and ads. Most people can't afford to do both. You should be using TikTok and ads to launch that product on Amazon. And you do, the ones that do both are having a higher success rate at selling. And you know what, if something happens on the Amazon ad sides that it gets too competitive or you can't win, you have another source. Or if you have a tight race with a competitor, having another source of traffic is gonna help a ton.
Okay, so blind decision. 100% of your budget, how much of it goes to TikTok, how much of it goes to PPC?
Can you give me a product?
Doesn't matter.
Well, it matters.
Huh?
It matters. To me, the product matters a lot.
Okay, give me 2 examples.
Pasta. Tea.
Pot. The product that he just said, I would do TikTok.
Obviously.
The Diet Tomase,
What percentage to PPC, what percentage to...
the Diet Tomase, I would put 90% on TikTok and 10% on Amazon. And the only 10% of ads that would be running on Amazon would be branded search. Just because
So you stay completely away from...
there's no need.
property.
I would stay completely away from it. Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
From what?
From discovery ads.
But why wouldn't you also use, you already have videos here, why wouldn't you also post them on Instagram?
No, you could, but I wouldn't put any ad budget behind it, is what he was saying, like of my ad budget.
No ad budget, just post it and
Yeah, I'd be post it everywhere, but it's rare that somebody just comes across a one-off random video, even if it's highly produced on Instagram, and then just runs off and buys, and definitely not in scale. But if it's part of an overall social media strategy and there's budget for that, then sure, but that's...
So you don't consider Instagram as effective as TikTok?
Short answer, no. But it depends. If we're going back to that, short answer is no. In the vein of what we're talking about right now. But you could have a strategy that you're building out way before your product gets there and have a great presence on TikTok and a lot of activity, and you could 100% launch your stuff on Instagram. That's not TikTok, on Instagram, and do phenomenal on Instagram.
The reason is affiliates. That's
Right,
the
but
only difference.
right, the reason is,
Instagram has a fantastic reach.
Yes.
The reason is affiliates.
yeah, but
I'm sorry, very driven. Your reason is what?
he doesn't project very well.
Affiliates. The reality is TikTok is really well prepared to be able to handle distribution through affiliates and understanding what affiliates drove traffic to your product, what affiliates drove sales to your products. That in and of itself lends TikTok to be a place where people go to make money as affiliates. Therefore, it has a much easier way to gather presence and awareness than, say, Instagram. That's the main reason. That being said, if you're gonna go the AI route, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. Either one works. But if you're
it comes down to budget for your ads. Like, what do you have for your marketing budget? TikTok is the lowest hanging fruit. That's why I started with there.
Affiliates means influencers, the same word, or there's a difference?
There's a difference technically, but for right now, I think we're just bunching it all together.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
The videos for your coach.
Okay. Oh my God.
So, before you launch a product, how long before you should be dealing with your affiliates and promoting the product? And all
Okay, but let's take a step back for a second. We've talked about TikTok for finding the product. One of the good things about this, and this is something that I'm very, like, I'd say I'm in the 1% on in the space, is there's a long time between the time you have an idea and you know you're going to do it and the time that the actual product's selling. There's a lot of stuff that can be done there. We talk about social media and what to do on Instagram as if it's something we start doing when the product launches, like the day it's available for sale. That's too late. At that point, maybe do it so the next time you relaunch the product, you can do something. But what I like to do, and I find, again, going with the easiest thing to do is email. Specifically, email newsletters.
So you're buying database? Because you don't have an audience yet, right?
To be clear, I'm not talking about buying an email list as far as like you have an email list and you're going to sell me 10,000 people and then I'm going to blast them. But it's kind of the same thing. You're going to be spending some money. You're going to be posting organically and or spending some money to get reach, to get real subscribers onto your list. One of the easiest platforms I've seen to do this is a platform called Kit Creator Network. And what that's going to allow you to do is get targeted, highly interested, double opt-in subscribers to what you're planning on selling. Maybe not like, if you're going to be getting into that Cardamomo, you're not creating a newsletter about Cardamomo, but like that's part of, I don't know, superfoods. I don't know if it is. So your newsletter would be more about superfoods. And you know that if you created a newsletter about superfoods, a bunch of different products that you would be launching into that space with time would be very relevant to that list. And that your specific product, when you wanted to plug it to your list, would get traction. It's something that they're interested in. It could influence your content before the product launch. When Valentine's Day comes, the chocolate the truffle chocolate cardamomo is the best gift to do. So it influences what you do in your newsletter leading up to when you sell. But it's not one of those things you can turn on at the beginning. So you turn it on in advance. The good thing about a newsletter is you could turn it on. You could have an idea now for a private label, start your newsletter, and launch your product in 3 years while making money with your newsletter off of affiliates and advertising placements on your newsletter or whatever, but you're building an active email newsletter so that you can.
But when it comes to launch, why not? I mean, maybe I got it wrong, but it seems to me like you kind of dismissed the idea of buying a list. Let's say find an email list of people who are into superfood. Why not buy the list and advertise directly to them?
How many times has somebody sent you a cold email that you acted on?
Yeah.
Right, that's what it boils down to.
Just basically became a spam.
Yeah. Not to mention it being illegal, but I don't want to say that because, we all push limits in our business. And that's definitely like in a light gray area. But when's the last time any of you received a cold email to buy something and you just bought it?
I absolutely hate cold emails without an unsubscribe button.
Right.
It's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, that's the answer. That's why. If it worked, I'd be more receptive to it, but it doesn't. And I do email a lot. So give me a list of 100 people that are double opt-in and want to be there, over 10,000 people that I don't care if they bought somebody else's stuff in the superfood space, and the value, I'd take the 100 people on the double opt-in all day. And it would cost a lot less than the list you bought. So there's a platform called Creator Network that allows you to say in the superfood space, it allows you to go in there and find a whole bunch of other newsletter creators that write about the stuff that's relevant in superfoods, and allow anytime somebody subscribes to that newsletter, have yours pop up and say, if you're into newsletter, if you're into this newsletter, you'll really be into this. Yours pops up, it's got a check on it, and you start building your list that way. So like you could do that ahead of time. To your point though, so somebody asked a question like, when should you start reaching out to these creators beforehand? Now. I would start reaching out now. I'd start identifying who's a good creator to work with. I'd create your TikTok shop now. It would be breaking some rules, I guess, a little bit, but there's definitely some ways if you wanted to get creative that you could have something listed in your TikTok shop and start getting some fake sales in to show some activity. The more activity you see on the product in your TikTok shop, the better it's going to be for you when you're working with creators. But yeah, I'd start doing that now. I'd start lining them up now. Yeah, I wouldn't wait.
That software already comes with a CRM?
Which software?
Well, the Kit Creator Network.
Kit is a CRM. That's a newsletter. Yeah, it's a newsletter CRM. So yeah, it's phenomenal. Any questions so far?
So for a successful launch of any product, it doesn't matter if it's food related or anything, or cards or anything, we start newsletter typically, TikTok.
Would I? Yes, I would. I would start a newsletter. I like to make sure the product lends itself very well to content. Now, when you're talking, before what I was talking about that, it was content specifically via email that I could communicate in a written way. Now I would say that it's highly demonstrable in a short form video and in every which way possible, colorful, ASMR, everything. If you could play on some degree of fear in the video, that's gonna work. Like your gut is killing you. You know, something in that vein, I'd say that's I would look more into that. Is it highly demonstrable in short form content? I would prioritize that over email right now. Yeah.
How would you tackle if you have a better product than your competitor that it causes some health issues? Without being mean, saying, hey, look, these guys are doing this harm to you.
Without bashing the competitor's product?
But gaining market share.
Everybody believes their product is better than the competitor.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't think you. When you're looking at when you're looking at content, when you're looking at short form content, you're not looking at both products side by side. So I don't think that comes into. I don't think that comes into play. Amazon is where that comes into play because you're looking at the product side by side. I wouldn't spend money having a bunch of creators say my product's better than the other one, because if one of them goes viral, the other one's gonna be getting sales too. I wouldn't wanna do that at all. Just talk about yours. Yeah, in the case of your product, there's a lot of things that can be talked about your product.
Concentrate on solving a problem, not talking about your competitors.
Yeah. Yeah. Places to find those creators, you really don't have to leave TikTok. I mean, to be honest, but there's a ton of them now. Wayward, Partner Boost, Levanta, Join Brands, Yuka. I mean, there's a ton that you can use. Your First Dollar, I'm slowly moving away from it, but it's still working good for a lot of people. Every one of us here would find more creators than we could possibly work with, I think, on any of those platforms, and be more than good enough to start. And that's without even taking into account AI video for selling products. I've not created any of that type of content, so I don't want to speak a lot to it. It does seem like something that we'll both be messing with over the next like 30 to 90 days. So I'll be able to weigh more into it then. I am working with a lot of people who get it created, and I'm seeing the effects of it. I don't like how it's used in some ways. Like a really effective one would be with Cardomo chocolate. Having a doctor, an AI doctor sitting there talking about the benefits of it. Yeah, that's gonna work. I think that's really shady to have an AI looking doctor saying that stuff and making people think it's doctor approved, but it works. So I see a lot of stuff that's working. I can respect though, it depends on what you find acceptable, but like that Amish video we just looked at, that's why I keep referencing it, that was good. That was done really, really good.
I'm sorry. I have like a 3 times pops up like a lady talking like selling some horse product. Like three occasions like it popped on my feed and I look close and I'm still not sure if it was real or AI. It was
Yeah.
right on that border, like not understanding what it does.
There's some really, really good stuff out there. There's what is it, Key?
It's an aggregator.
Key.ai, Higgsfield.ai, huh?
No, it's
KIE, KIE.ai, Higgsfield.ai, what's the other one? In mass, I don't know, but quality, VO3. I think it would get too expensive to do it scale, but none of them are just, if you need to do like a one-off or whatever, I would use Gemini's VO3. It's nothing, it's a movie. Like you could,
Gemini's creating videos now?
I would say, I'm gonna go out there and say the best video in the world. Yes.
No, sit-downs is better.
Where?
But, yeah.
What do you,
VO3 is very, very
what do you think is better?
sit-downs. Also more expensive, but VO3 is definitely one of the top ones.
What kind of subscription for Gemini you need to make videos? Because I was checking like half an hour ago, they are at different levels.
Not that expensive.
You don't need a subscription at all. You can go by API and pay per token, or you can get a subscription.
Okay.
Yeah, not that expensive.
And they make like long videos or just like the Google photo that makes like 4-second videos?
No limits. You are genuinely just limited by your imagination right now. No limits. You could remake Star Wars. Especially the last 3. Yeah, no limits whatsoever. But what you said in the beginning, knowing where you're going to sell the product is, I think, more important than ever. TikTok should have a place for your video. For your product launch. I would even say, does the product, I would think video too. Like, does the product, I mean, TikTok is video, it's implied, but there's a lot of stuff on TikTok that's not video as well. But specifically video, so not just demonstrable in a main image, but does well on video. Like, can be demonstrable really nicely in video, specifically short form video. I think that should be one of the main criterias for the product. I'm even gonna say, like, we're getting to a point, and it's making it more complicated. I'm seeing products launch on Amazon with this TikTok approach that are selling more than what, like, I'll give you an example. Product right now is selling 20 to 30 units a month. This person just decides based on what they believe could happen with this product, meaning not supported by Amazon search, to launch this thing, and it's selling 900 units a month. So like that's a complete about face on like how you would approach Amazon in the past. So like if you think, I'm not gonna put my like stamp of approval on this, but I'm close to saying, if you think the product can sell and you can back it up in a video and you can get a bunch of creators to do it and it's super demonstrable, I don't really care too much, as long as it's legally allowed to sell on Amazon, I think it'll do well on Amazon. Because Amazon's gonna start putting out in front of their audience. So, exciting times.
Quick question going back to the TikTok. I wanted to ask you before, but we've ran out of time. Do you see as feasible to launch a product without Amazon at all?
Where?
Just TikTok and
100%.
Shopify.
store.
Your Shopify store.
Like a TikTok Shopify?
Yes.
Or Shopify store, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
You just need money on the table, but yes.
yeah. It's more like why, but I mean, yeah. So it's kind of like,
Because of the FBA commissions, basically.
no. So it's just like when somebody says like how much do you need to launch a private label product? So my answer now is $30,000 to $50,000, just absent any other information. One of the things we didn't really touch on that I think is really important is getting into a product that has, nowadays, if you're product agnostic, why would you not get a product that has a nice LTV, that has a subscription to it, or there's other ways for you to make money off this customer afterward, whether it's an informational product or whatever, like why would you not? Like that's a really, like I'm ready to die on that hill. Like why would you get into selling a knee brace and you're gonna sell one knee brace and that's it? Unless you're so passionate about knee braces and you're an orthopedic and a whole bunch of other jazz, like why would you do that to yourself? But when somebody comes to me and says like, how much does it cost to launch a private label product? What they're really asking is how much does it cost to launch something that can bring me a life-changing amount of money, that can have me stop working this full-time thing wherever I'm at, that can support my lifestyle, or it's some variation of that, to do something impactful. And that's why we're talking about, that's why I give that bigger number. If somebody bet me, I bet you couldn't launch a product on Amazon for under $1,000, I'd go source some cigar cutters from China and I'd launch it and I technically did it. But no one's talking about that, right? So your question is, can you launch a product? Do you need to launch a product on Amazon? Like, can you just do TikTok to Shopify? Yeah, you don't even need TikTok. I mean, you could do Google ads and Facebook ads. You could have a really strong organic social media strategy and just send them to Shopify. You could do those video ads like that Amish person and just send them to Shopify. Like you don't need to do it. The thing is, the resources that you're gonna put into doing this, the skills you're gonna develop in doing this, why would you not? You mentioned, which is a popular one, which is FBA fees. You don't get out of those fees by just selling on Shopify. Everything else, you're gonna pay that and probably more in other ways, like your cost of acquiring customers, your horrible in comparison conversion rate for the traffic that you do bring to the site, because people trust Amazon, they don't yet trust your site. Look at TikTok. TikTok has a whole lot more trust on TikTok than you're gonna have on your Shopify. And I don't know, 30, 40% of them are people, shoppers there, are opting to go buy it on Amazon. So it's more like why, like you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Yeah. I think we pushed up on time. Yeah. Any questions? Anybody has anything else? That was nice. Dia Tomasi. Miguel's like, fuck, why did I write that down? Let me see if anybody had any questions. Oh, let me see if we got some questions. Oh, Brian, that's a good one. Let me see. Carlos. All right, we got a lot of questions. Is the Zoom meeting on coming Wednesday on schedule? We have, I believe there's a Zoom meeting. It might be this week. I have to look, but we have our monthly webinar happening, and this one is going to be how to get started selling on Temu. So we have some people from Temu coming on, showing how to set up an account, how to get started selling on Temu. So, be something different.
How do you participate in that one?
The Zoom. The link will be shared around. I'll share the link with you and just, it's a free sign up. Yeah, I think that's the one you're talking about, Lokesh. Let's see. OS Group. Hello, Carlos. What is the best platform to sell premium, high-level interior design products? I would need to know what the product is. Is it? I'm so ignorant to interior design, like fashion, anything. So like I don't know what that is. Like, you know what came to my mind? Wallpaper. But like what is the product? I think that would help me to know what that is. It says in e-commerce, ASMR, autonomous sensory meridian response. I would not have gotten that right. Is a marketing technique that uses highly satisfying, soft, repetitive sounds and visuals like whispering, tapping, or crunching. Yeah. Not to trigger. She looks AI. Yeah. So said the Amish person looks AI. I agree. Brian says the New York state law requiring a disclosure of AI. Yep. Yeah. I think that's going to go everywhere.
Let's see what it really means. It's too early to tell.
Too early to tell. New York created a law.
Right. And are they going to enforce it with everybody? Let's see. It's too early to tell.
The fact that, well, I won't even get into that. What New York enforces and doesn't enforce. Is the benefit, George, is the benefit of using TikTok before Amazon only the fees, or is it also a social media aspect? You're not using it before Amazon, you're using it at the same time or in conjunction with. So you have your product on Amazon and you launch all these creators and you let them loose to create this stuff. You have your product available for sale on TikTok Shop and Amazon FBA. You're getting sales on TikTok Shop, but you're getting a meaningful percentage of that traffic or those conversions are going up and going to your product on Amazon. So that's what it is. And it's technically not cheaper, unless, depends on the product, but like, for example, the product, in my opinion, the product that we saw in the video with the AI Amish woman, that would have been a product that has expensive ads on Amazon. So in that case, I think it actually broke down cheaper. Like assuming they had, I don't know, we have $6,000 a month to spend on ads. And that might have worked on Amazon. I think they probably pulled this off for $4. But they still spent. It's not like they spent nothing.
How does TikTok charge you?
Carefully. Well, they have their fees per transaction.
It's like per
Their shipping I can't make sense of. Their shipping looks like an entire dock with like, it looks like an if this then that scenario.
Are they charged by exposure?
No. So a creator would create a video talking about your product, and there'd be a link in their video for someone to click, and the person would click and buy. TikTok, you would be paying that creator based on the agreed upon percentage that they would get for selling that product, and then you would pay the fees associated with selling a product on the platform.
So if you do it organically, you just pay TikTok a certain percentage of the sale.
Yep. Yep. Lighting. Lighting sells good on Amazon. So high-end lighting. Yeah, high-end lighting. I was going to say Wayfair. I think Wayfair is. It depends what you say high-end. Like most people say high-end and luxury, and they just say because their product sells for $250. For me, luxury, you're probably like in the thousands of dollars. So you could sell a purse for $600. That doesn't mean you sell a high-end luxury purse. Louis Vuitton is a high-end luxury purse. So you just sell a product that's a more expensive version of it. So depending on how much more expensive it is, I also, not to mince words, but I also feel like luxury, when The luxury model is technically, you know, you're paying a crap load more than what the material costs are of the product, because what you're buying is pretty much the status. Like, you're buying the Rolex logo, you're buying the Ferrari horses, like you're buying that. And so luxury is a different thing. I don't think I've met anyone in 16 years of the meetups who's come through that sold something that was truly in the luxury space.
I think it's like 600, 800 bucks with like Home Depot online, Wayfair. Or
Yeah,
something.
if it's higher end or luxury, it's definitely Wayfair for home stuff or furniture. But lighting, again, I don't know the price, but $600 to $800 for lighting is actually not the high end of lighting even on Amazon. So it depends on the price.
Is there, like Helium 10 connects to TikTok, so you can do market research?
Yeah, it does.
It does?
Yeah. Let's see. Skate Tutors. I still love that name. What's up, Carlos? I had a question about if you make an LLC business for your Amazon influencer program, would you get business insurance for that? Amazon is not going to require you to have business insurance for being an Amazon influencer. Yeah, because you are a 1099. I'm going to say I don't think you need business insurance. If you really ramp up your business and you have some employees shooting videos and building swing sets and all kind of stuff, and it gets to the point, maybe consider it. If you asked an insurance agent, it's yes, get insurance. If it's you and just shooting some influencer videos, no, Amazon's not going to require it, and I don't think you need it. Yeah. Cool. All right. If nobody has any other questions, we'll wrap it up. Thank you. Okay. Gentlemen, thank you.